Hello students, this is the continuation of my previous video on sacral plexus. In my previous video I finished about three nerves, the superior gluteal nerve, the inferior gluteal nerve and the largest nerve of the body, that is the sciatic nerve. Please go through that video for better understanding. Now I'll continue with the next nerve of the sacral plexus in this video, and the next nerve is the posterior femoral cutaneous nerve. Okay, posterior femoral cutaneous nerve. So it is posteriorly and it is supplying the skin, that is cutaneous part. The nerve root is S1 to S3. Okay, it leaves the pelvis via the greater sciatic foramina. So it will leave the pelvis via the greater sciatic foramina and enter the gluteal region inferiorly to the piriformis muscle. So it will enter the gluteal region inferiorly to the piriformis muscle. It descends deep to the gluteus maximus and runs down to the back of the thigh to the knees. Okay, so that is about the posterior femoral cutaneous nerve. Posterior means it will be running definitely on the back of the thigh up to the knees only. Posterior aspect. So posterior femoral cutaneous nerve. Okay, the nerve root is S1 to S3. Okay, the nerve root is S1 to S3. Okay, so if you see here, the nerve root is S1 to S3. Okay, this is posterior cutaneous nerve of thigh, S1, S2 and S3. Okay, this is the nerve root, posterior cutaneous nerve of thigh. Okay, so this posterior cutaneous nerve of thigh, okay, that is the posterior cutaneous nerve of thigh. So you can see here also in this diagram, this is the posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh. Okay, so we have talked about the superior gluteal nerve. This is the sacral plexus. We have talked about the inferior gluteal nerve. We have talked about the sciatic nerve. And right now we are talking about the posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh. Okay, the nerve supply, okay, or the root of this nerve is S1, S2 and S3. You can see here, this is the posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh. It is S1, S2 and S3. Okay, so this is the root value, S1, S2 and S3. This root value is very important for oral purposes as well as for your MCQs. Okay, now the posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh will leave the greater sciatic foramina. It will leave the greater sciatic foramina and it will reach the gluteal region posteriorly. It will reach the gluteal region inferior to the piriformis. So superior to the piriformis was superior gluteal nerve. Inferior to the piriformis was the inferior gluteal nerve. Okay, as well as the sciatic nerve. Now the posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh, that is also inferior to the piriformis. Okay, and then it will descend down up to the back of the thigh. Okay, it descends down from the gluteus maximus and it runs down to the back of the thigh to the knees. You all know gluteus maximus was supplied by the inferior gluteal nerve. Okay, so this is about the gluteus maximus. Okay, so gluteus maximus, as you all know, it is supplied by the inferior gluteal nerve. So gluteus maximus, you can see here motor function is inferior gluteal nerve. So this nerve, posterior femoral cutaneous nerve, will pass through the gluteus maximus and it will run down and it will supply the back of the thigh up to the knees. Okay, so you have to remember it is going inferior to the piriformis. Now it has only sensory function. It innervates the skin on the posterior surface of the thigh and the legs and the skin of the perineum. So it is only has sensory function. Posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh, it only has sensory function and it supplies the skin on the posterior surface of the thigh and the legs and the skin of the perineum. Clear? So posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh, the root value is S1, S3, S1, S2, S3. It will leave the greater sciatic foramina. It will enter the gluteal region inferior to the piriformis. It descends deep to the gluteus maximus and it will run down the back of the thigh up to the knees. It has only sensory function and it innervates the skin on the posterior surface of the thigh and the legs and the skin of the perineum. Okay. The last major peripheral nerve is the pudendal nerve. The nerve root of this nerve, that is the root value. Okay. The root value is S2 to S4. Okay. That is the root value. So pudendal nerve, the root value is S2, S3 and S4. Okay. So the root value of the pudendal nerve is S2 to S4 and that of posterior cutaneous nerve was S1 to S3 and this is S2 to S4. This is the pudendal nerve. So you can see pudendal nerve. This is S2, this is S3 and this is the S4. So S2, S3, S4 is forming the pudendal nerve. Okay. So this is your pudendal nerve. You can see here, this is the pudendal nerve. So you can see here also the pudendal nerve arising from S2, S3 as well as S4. This is your pudendal nerve. So the root value is S2, S3 and S4. Clear? This is the root value. Please remember the root value. Now, pudendal nerve, this along with the nerve to obturator internus, they leave the pelvis via the GSF to enter into the gluteal region. Same way, this nerve along with the obturator internus nerve, the nerve supplying the obturator internus muscle, it will leave the pelvis via the greater sciatic foramina to enter into the gluteal region. They loop around the sacrospinous ligament to enter into the perineum via the lesser sciatic foramina. So this is taking the second route, which I have already explained. This is taking the second course. The pudendal nerve is taking the second course. What is the second course? This nerve arises from the nerve roots S2, S3 and S4. Okay, it is arising from S2, S3 and S4. Okay, then it is entering the greater sciatic foramina. Okay, it is entering the greater sciatic foramina. Okay, now this will go through the gluteal region. Okay, it will reach the gluteal region. Okay, also it loops around the sacrospinous ligament. It is looping around the sacrospinous ligament to enter the perineum via the lesser sciatic foramina. So, this pudendal nerve along with the nerve to the obturator internus, okay, it leave the pelvis via the GSF. It will leave the pelvis via the greater sciatic foramina to enter into the gluteal region. It will loop around. Okay, so what will it will do? Greater sciatic foramina, then it will loop around the sacrospinous ligament. It will reach the lesser sciatic foramina and then it will reach the gluteal region as well as the perineum. Okay, so from greater sciatic foramina, it will loop around the sacrospinous ligament. It will reach the lesser sciatic foramina and then it will go to the gluteal region also, and as it will supply the perineum. Okay, the motor function is it innervates the skeletal muscles, the perineum, the external urethral sphincter, the external anal sphincter and the levator ani muscle. So this pudendal nerve, the motor function is it innervates the skeletal muscles, the perineum, okay, the external urethral sphincter, okay, the external anal sphincter. So urethral sphincter external and anal sphincter also external and the levator ani. So this is the function of the pudendal nerve. The motor function is it innervates the penis, the clitoris and most of the skin of the perineum. So motor function is innervates the skeletal muscles, the perineum the external urethral sphincter. That is, sphincter is, it is relaxing and it is contracting. It is dilating, it is contracting. So that is provided by the pudendal nerve. The anal sphincter, it is relaxing and it is contracting. So this function is provided by the pudendal nerve and the levator ani muscles. This is the forming the pelvic diaphragm. The sensory function is it innervates the penis, senses to the penis, senses to the clitoris in females, and most of the skin of the perineum. So this was about the major peripheral nerves of the sacral plexus. The first was the superior gluteal nerve, inferior gluteal nerve, then the sciatic nerve, then the posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh, and the pudendal nerve. We'll go to the smaller branches. What are the smaller branches which you have to remember in the sacral plexus? This completely has to be remembered. Okay, so which are the smaller branches of the sacral plexus? Okay, so first smaller branch is the perforating cutaneous nerve. Perforating cutaneous nerve, it supplies the skin of the inferior gluteal region. This everything has to be by hearted. Okay, so perforating cutaneous nerve is one of the smaller branch of the sacral plexus. Okay, it supplies the skin, cutaneous. So it is supplying the skin of the inferior gluteal region. The root value is S2, S3. Okay, the root value is S2 and S3. It innervates the skin of the gluteal fold. It is innervating the skin of the gluteal fold. It perforates the sacrotuberous ligament to provide its cutaneous innervation. That's why it is known as perforating cutaneous nerve. So which part it is penetrating or perforating or piercing? The sacrotuberous ligament. Okay, the sacrotuberous ligament. So this is the perforating cutaneous nerve. It supplies the skin of the inferior gluteal region. Okay, and it innervates the skin of the inferior gluteal fold. Okay, it innervates the skin of the gluteal fold. It perforates through the sacrotuberous ligament. So sacrotuberous is between the sacrum and the ischial tuberosity. So it is innervating the sacrotuberous ligament, perforating the sacrotuberous ligament to do its cutaneous function. Okay, so it is supplying the inferior gluteal region, and the root value is the S2 and S3. So this is the perforating cutaneous nerve, S2 and S3. So this is the perforating cutaneous nerve from S2, S3. Okay, this has to be by-hearted, and it is perforating the sacrotuberous ligament. The next nerve, small branch, is the nerve to piriformis, S2 and occasionally S1. Okay, so this all you have to remember. S2 and occasionally S1, that is nerve to piriformis. It supplies the piriformis muscle directly. So the main nerve root is S2 and sometimes S1, and it will supply the piriformis muscle directly. Okay. The next nerve is nerve to obturator internus muscle. Nerve to obturator internus muscle. So you all know where is the obturator internus muscle? Near the obturator foramina. So the nerve to obturator internus muscle, it originates from L5 to S2. Okay. So nerve to obturator internus, it originates from L5 to S2. Okay. So L5, okay, S1, S2 is nerve to obturator internus. So it exists the pelvis via the greater sciatic foramina. It will loop around the sacrospinous ligament and it will re-enter via the lesser sciatic foramina to directly innervate the obturator internus muscle and the superior gemellus muscle. Okay. So it is supplying two muscles, the obturator internus and superior gemellus. Okay. So this nerve to obturator. So here is the obturator canal. Here will be the obturator internus muscle. Yes. This is the obturator's membrane covering the obturator internus muscle. It is from L5 S1, S2, the nerve arises, it goes to the greater sciatic foramina, it will loop around the sacrospinous ligament and it will re-enter via the lesser sciatic foramina, okay, and it will directly innervate the obturator internus muscle and the superior gamella. Okay, so from here L5, S1, S2, it will go greater sciatic foramina, then loop around the sacrospinous, reach the lesser sciatic foramina and directly innervate the obturator internus, and it will also innervate the superior gemellus. You can see here. So this is obturator internus and it is superior gemellus. So superior gemellus is supplied by the nerve to obturator internus. This and this. Clear? The next is nerve to quadratus femoris. The nerve to quadratus femoris. It is L4 and S1. The root value is L4 and S1. L4 to S1, sorry, L4, L5 and S1. Okay, that is the root value. The nerve to obturatus, the root value was L5, S1 and S2. Okay, and nerve to quadratus femoris, the root value is L4, L5, S1. Please remember these root values. It leaves the pelvis via the greater sciatic foramina inferior to the piriformis muscle to innervate the quadratus femoris and inferior gemellus. Okay, so here it's a simple route. It is not going to lesser sciatic foramina, okay, by the sacrospinous ligament. It is just arising from L4, L5 and S1 nerve roots, okay. It leaves the pelvis via the greater sciatic foramina inferior to the piriformis. It is inferior to the piriformis muscle to innervate the quadratus femoris. It is innervating the quadratus femoris and the inferior gemellus. Okay, so it is innervating the quadratus femoris and the inferior gemellus. Superior gemellus is nerve to obturator internus and nerve to quadratus femoris is obviously innervating the quadratus femoris and the inferior gemellus. So superior gemellus is supplied by the nerve to obturator internus and it's supply the obturator internus also, and nerve to quadratus femoris supplies the inferior gemellus muscle as well as the quadratus femoris. Clear? Next is the nerve to levator ani and coccygeus. It conveys fibers from the ventral division of S4. Okay, so it is arising from S4 and it supplies from the pelvic surface of the muscle. So it is supplying the pelvic levator ani and the coccygeus muscle. Okay, it is supplying the levator ani and the coccygeus. Okay, so if you see, this is the coccygeus muscle. Yes, these muscles I have described in detail when I have done the topic of pelvic floor muscles. So this is the coccygeus muscle. So coccygeus and levator ani muscles, they form the part of the pelvic floor muscles or the pelvic diaphragm. So these muscles are supplied by nerve to levator ani and nerve to coccygeus, and it arises from ventral division of S4. Okay, so ventral division of S4 is supplying the nerve to levator ani and nerve to coccygeus from S4. Okay, next, small branch, perineal branch of S4 nerve. This arises from the ventral division of S4 nerve and pierces the coccygeus and appears in the ischiorectal fossa near the tip of the coccyx to supply the sphincter ani externus, external anal sphincter and the adjacent skin. So it's a perineal branch of S4 nerve. So from where it is arising? It is arising from the ventral division of S4. Okay, ventral division of S4 it is arising. It pierces the coccygeus. Right now only I showed about the coccygeus muscle. So it is going through and through the coccygeus. It appears in the ischiorectal fossa. You know where is ischiorectal fossa? Between the ischium and the rectum. So between the ischial bone and the rectum there is a fossa which is known as ischiorectal fossa. It will reach the ischiorectal fossa near the tip of the coccyx. Okay, and it will supply the external anal sphincter and the adjacent skin. Again I'll repeat, perineal branch arises from the ventral division of S4 and pierces the coccygeus. Then it will appear in the ischiorrectal fossa. It will appear near the tip of the coccyx and it will supply the external anal sphincter and the adjacent skin. So this is the perineal branch of S4. The pelvic splanchnic nerves, this I have described before when I did the autonomic nerves of the abdomen. Okay, so just a repetition, they arises from the ventral division of S2, S3 and S4 nerves. So from the ventral division, please go through my video on autonomic nerves for better understanding of pelvic splanchnic nerves. Okay, so they arises from ventral division of S2, S3 and S4 and carry preganglionic parasympathetic motor fibers and viscerosensory fibers to the pelvic viscera. Okay, so that is the pelvic splanchnic nerves arising from ventral division of S2, S3 and S4. It is forming the part of the parasympathetic motor fibers. Okay, so it is carrying preganglionic parasympathetic motor fibers, and viscerosensory fibers to the pelvic viscera. Please go through my video on autonomic nerves for better understanding of this pelvic splanchnic nerves. Okay. The next part and the last part is the coccygeus plexus. So that was the sacral plexus. This is the coccygeus plexus. It is formed by small descending branches of the ventral rami of S4, S5 and coccygeal nerves. Okay, so it is formed by coccygeal nerves. So formed by small descending branch of ventral rami. So S4, S5 and coccygeal nerves. You all know sacral plexus also includes L4, L5 and S1 to S4. Now from, you know this is L4, L5, S1, S2, S3, S4. This is forming the sacral plexus. The coccygeal plexus is formed by S4, S5 and coccygeal nerves. Okay, there are coccygeal nerves. It lies over the pelvic surface of the coccygeus muscle. So this is a coccygeus muscle which is a part of pelvic diaphragm. So it is lying over the pelvic surface of the coccygeus muscle. The plexus gives off the anococcygeal nerves. Okay, it is lying over the pelvic surface of the coccygeus muscle. It is giving anococcygeal nerves which pass through the sacrotuberous ligament to reach the skin overlying the coccyx. So this much you have to remember in the coccygeus plexus. It is formed by what? Descending ventral rami, descending branches of the ventral rami of S4, S5 and coccygeal nerves. It lies over the coccygeus muscle. Coccygeus plexus lying over the coccygeus muscle. It gives off anococcygeal nerves. So nerves are anococcygeus which pass through the sacrotuberous ligament. Sacrotuberous ligament is between the sacrum and the ischial tuberosity and it will reach the skin overlying the coccyx. Okay. So this was about the coccygeus plexus. Okay, so this was about the coccygeus plexus. So if you see here in this, it is formed by, suppose this is S4, S5 and this is the coccygeus nerves. Okay, it arises, that is the pelvic floor muscle. It will go down the level of the coccygeus muscle. Okay, it will go in the level of the coccygeus muscle. Now this plexus, it gives anococcygeal nerves. Okay, it gives anococcygeal nerves. And this nerves, it passes through the sacrotuberous ligament. So it is passing through the sacrotuberous ligament. It is passing through the sacrotuberous ligament. So that is the sacrotuberous ligament. This is sacrotuberous ligament. Okay, and it will reach the skin overlying the tip of the coccyx. Okay, skin overlying the coccyx. Okay, so this was all about the nerves of the pelvis. Okay, please go through my video for better understanding. Thank you, students.